Debbie, how are you?
I am doing great.
It's Debbie Sardone. She's in Dallas. She's a cleaning industry specialist. So wearing shoes in my house is bad?
Oh, my goodness. It certainly is.
Why would you have to preface it with, oh, my goodness? You could have just said, yes, that's correct.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. It is so bad. According to ISSA, the Worldwide Cleaning Association, cleaning plays a critical role in protecting our health, and you would not believe what you bring into your house on the bottom of your shoe.
Worse than my iPhone?
Much worse.
Really?
In fact, there's over 421,000 germs.
Well, you said 421,000 germs on the bottom of my feet?
Germs and bacteria on the bottom of your shoes. Because think about it. You walk through public places, you go to public restrooms during the day, some people take the subway, and you're bringing all that grime and dirt and germs and bacteria into your home.
This is one of the reasons I don't like talking to you, Debbie.
I know it. I bring nothing but bad news.
So if I want footwear, though, then I need some house shoe that I would put on like a smoking jacket and slippers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just think how comfortable it is. You know what? We need to be more like the Japanese. You slip your shoes off at the door when you come into your home and slip your feet into something comfortable that hasn't been roaming around town.
This has Fred Rogers all over this.
Right.
I mean, this is exactly what Fred did. He put on his indoor tennies. And he,
had his little sweater.
Yeah. No, but he changed shoes.
Behind that.
He changed shoes.
I know that.
I'll be darned. Okay, so if I need to have, but then if my indoor shoes, because I have dogs, they're bringing stuff in. Oh,
they are, but your dogs aren't taking the bus, and they're not visiting public restrooms. They're just roaming around in the yard where it's organic. Although some studies have shown toxic herbicides on the bottom of our shoes, so you do need to be careful if that's what you have in your lawn, and the dogs are bringing that back into the house, especially if you have babies crawling around on the floor.
Oh, boy. Okay, so the way you reference this, Debbie Sardone, cleaning industry expert from Dallas, I should probably never walk into a public restroom again? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? It's perfectly fine, but just make sure you either slip your shoes off when you come into the house, or if you have a contractor coming in to do some work, just have some of those surgical booties by the door and ask them to cover the bottom of their shoes.
All right, you said 421,000 germs and bacteria things, but doesn't that build my resistance?
Well, it's nice to have a little bit of resistance, but particularly for the elderly, babies, or those with cancer, we need to be extra careful with those individuals. And ISSA says that a clean home is part of good health. So especially for those with a vulnerable situation, we need to be extra careful.
Well, and I know since talking with you, Debbie, I pay attention to where I'm putting my purse when I use the restroom, like at the movie theater, before I go into the movie, things like that. I always use the hook. Never put it on the floor anymore.
What if the hook is broken?
Well, I try to finagle it around the toilet paper rack
on top of your head.
Something.
Just kind of balance that baby on
right.
Maybe even on my lap if I can, work things out. But I just never do the floor.
That is so true.
Because you talked about, the purse and to the table, and wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well, I think I've taken all I can of this interview. Okay, Debbie, where can people learn more about stuff never to do? But you've been emphasizing, oh my goodness, twice on the shoes. Right. The shoes are
well, if you want some really great tips on keeping things clean and sanitized, you need to go to ISSA.com/value tips. And there is just a plethora of information about keeping your home clean and safe and sanitary.
All right, the website again?
ISSA.com/value tips.
I think Bob from What About Bob actually went to that website and then started using handkerchiefs wherever he touched stuff. So that's a good tip. Now, Debbie, nice to have you on. I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Debbie Sardone in Dallas.
New study showing that wearing shoes inside your home is tracking additional germs into our home. Debbie Sardone, I am a little bit horrified about what you're going to share with us, but I I would like to know. So welcome to the Brian Mudd Show, and tell us about this study and what we're tracking into our homes.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and you're not alone, so don't worry about that. According to ISSA, the Worldwide Cleaning Association, cleaning plays a critical role in protecting our health. So you're not being too obsessive compulsive when you realize that the bottom of your shoes could be bringing in over 421,000 units of bacteria just on the bottom of your shoes. One study out of Arizona said that over 9 different types of bacteria were found on the bottom of the average shoe. So we're talking E. coli, toxic herbicides, rodent droppings, fecal matter. The list goes on. So you're not being obsessive. There really is a threat.
There's part of me that hears that and doesn't even like the fact that I'm currently wearing shoes. Not that there's a way around this, but it's like, wow, I'm actually right now, a carrier for all that bacteria and those germs. That's pretty disgusting. So
we all are, because we can't avoid public places. You go to the office, you go to public restrooms. If you travel like I do, you're going through airports and the restrooms are filthy. We really can't help what we're exposed to, but we can help what we bring into our homes. So the first step is just to simply remove your shoes at the door, just like the Japanese do. They don't walk around their homes with their outside shoes. They take them off at the door and put on their inside shoes.
Now, when I hear about all this being tracked in, is there any type of evidence that we wouldn't necessarily have a lot of those contagions already in the house? I mean, you mentioned some things that, unfortunately, we might be contaminating from the inside as well.
Household germs are just normal. It's a way of life, and we're never going to eliminate all of them. And a lot of these practices of keeping the home healthy, clean, and safe are most important with vulnerable populations. I mean, think about it. You have a baby crawling around on the floor, then they put their little hands in their mouth. Or the elderly, or someone with a immune-compromised situation, like someone undergoing treatment for cancer. So just being a little extra careful, slipping off your shoes, asking a contractor who comes to your door and comes in the house to maybe slip on those surgical booties that you can keep by the door. Just having a few extra simple steps will go a long way to keeping your home healthy.
You actually touched on something I was going to ask you about. With so many retirees in our area and so many senior communities and many people that do have various different maladies they might be battling, I would imagine that this would be a good prescriptive for a lot of those adult communities and certainly nursing homes.
Exactly. Most of us are relatively healthy, and normal germs and encountering bacteria every single day has less effect on us. But when you're dealing with vulnerable populations or small children crawling around on the floor, that little layer of diligence is extremely helpful. Now, I get all kinds of tips at issa.com/value tips, and you can get ideas on green cleaning in case you have pets that obviously are licking your floors, or just how to sanitize your house and your floors, and how to keep those germs and bacteria down as much as humanly possible without going overboard. And like
Debbie,
you said, without being militant.
There is a fine line, I've been told. You mentioned the pets, unrelated to the shoe study. I was going to ask you about that real quick too. I saw something recently that there's a bit of a misnomer. A lot of people think, well, your pets' mouths are going to be cleaner than yours, especially dogs. But I was reading something recently that came out that a lot of times it's different bacteria, and it actually introduced to you can end up, causing you to become sick.
Yeah, I don't know who originally said that, but I never bought into that. I'm going to tell you, I've seen where pets' mouths have been, and I would not say that they're cleaner than our own. So just practical common sense. Your pet walks around the yard, and maybe the yard has been sprayed with herbicides. If you have pets, you should be careful about more organic spraying in the yard. You can always wipe their feet when they come in, but just be aware that they, too, can be bringing in fecal matter, that they step in from outside. It's on the floor. The baby crawls on it, and the baby's hand goes in the mouth.
All right. And on that note, Debbie, I'm not necessarily thrilled about the information you shared, but it's kind of like what I think we need to know. So thank you very much for taking the time with us today. Appreciate it.
You are so welcome, and stay safe.